Hello. Well, now we are going to deal with. Oh, I see the sun. Oh, much better. Okay. Yeah. Now we are going to deal with the last part of lesson 6. And this last part is about organizational change. Organizational change, as Guerras y Navas define it, okay, includes all the management activities oriented to actively enable the introduction of changes in the organization of the firm in order to enable its functioning. Okay, so all the things you have to change so that it can function properly. Okay, well, all the things you have to change, maybe many changes in fact. Okay, first of all, let's start with the process you can see in the middle of the slide or on the lower part of the slide. Okay, well, where does organizational change come from? Organizational change comes from organizational misfit normally. Look at the process. So something internal or external changes can be anything external like this crisis of coronavirus, or can be anything internal like the loss of critical resource or capability, normally a resource. This causes a strategic misfit. Your past strategy doesn't fit the environment anymore. You have to change something. Well, then you carry out a strategic change. You create a new strategy, you design a new strategy so that the company can go on. Yes, but well, something does not work. What does not work? Maybe this new strategy is not well aligned with the organization of the firm. The strategy is something new, something which belongs to the future. Let's say the organization is something past, which belongs to the past of the company. So you need to carry out this organizational change. So the thing is that first of all comes strategic misfit and a strategic fit. Then we change the strategy. Then we have got organizational misfit, so we need to change the organization so that it fits. Okay, so this is the need of organizational change. So the triggering events of organizational change are strategic change, and this strategic change is due to changes in the environment or internal changes. So, well, clearly the companies have to adapt to changes in the environment. Normally first comes the change of the strategy, then comes the change of the organization. The organizational change can be gradual or wide. You can change a part of the organization, maybe you can change the marketing department or the production department, or wide. I mean, sometimes it's you have to change the entire organization. And can be formal or informal. By formal, we mean that we announce an organizational change. We are going to modify the entire organization. Informal, well, you start to introduce changes. Just announcing we are going to hold some meeting Monday in the morning, then we are going to carry out this kind of activity, then we are, so informally you are changing the organization, though it's not clear, or it's not clear. No, it's clear obviously, but it's not, you don't write it, you don't make it patent, you don't tell the people we are changing the organization. People see, but they are not announced something public. Okay, so organizations may be able to recognize the need of change before it happens. So the changes can be anticipative or reactive. When an organization is able to recognize the need of change before it happens, then normally the results, if the change is carried out in the right way, normally the results are superb, are magnificent. Okay, because normally you are going not to anticipate to the change, but also to the industry. If you are able to do so, normally you are going to lead the change. If you are not able to do so, well, you're going to react to a situation that has happened. Reacting, if you react in the right way, well, normally it's going to work. But well, if you're anticipative and you are right about the anticipation, normally you are going to lead. Well, which are the important things about the organizational change? Well, we have talked about the triggering events. Now we know which are the triggering events. Who are the change agents? Obviously, the main change agent is the top management team. The top management team needs to push the change, the organizational change. They will need both technical skills in order to design new structures, new procedures, management systems, policies and so on. So it's about being managers. You need technical skills, but you also need to be a leader. You need leadership abilities in order to deal with the soft part. Well, this is not fair, but normally it's called the soft part, the behaviors, the dynamics, the culture, in fact, to deal with people, to be able to lead people. Normally this is called the soft part. This is completely unfair, but it's called like that. Then, what about the process? Well, the process, any change process, has got the following 3 steps. You unfreeze, you do, you freeze. So the thing is that, well, you need to change some uses, some structures which were existing. First of all, you unfreeze. You announce, you make patent, make clear the need for change, or you start breaking the rules, or you break the situation, the status quo, okay? Then you change. You introduce the organizational change. And then you freeze again. Once you freeze again, you create the sensation that changes are here to stay. And what else? You need to walk over the resistance. There are going to be resistance to changes. The resistance can happen at 3 different levels. The resistance can be individual. There are people who are afraid of changes, they fear to change, or they are not good at changing, they are not flexible, so they don't like changes. Some people will be willing to protect their status. They are important in the organization and they don't want to reduce their importance. Sometimes it's about the perceptions of people. They don't like the change which is going to happen. Also, could be because of the personality of these people, or even some personal uses. I mean, no, yes, you have told me to do this, but I am used to do that, and so on and so on. Look, one of the problems about this coronavirus crisis is personal uses. We need to change some personal uses, and well, some people are rejecting this clearly, or is becoming really difficult for them, even if it's for some time. It's not to stay, but some people are not keen of changing their uses. There could be groupal resistances. Groupal resistance, I mean, there can be groups that are defending their status, their interests, because this group has got a lot of power and they don't want the status quo to change, so they don't want their power to be reduced. So they are defending, so long as they have power to defend, okay? Or there could be some, even, it's not normal in an organization, but there could be some anti-system groups, which are, well, resisting to any change because they don't like the management in general, so whatever the management says is wrong, Okay, the thing is that this groupal resistance is typical, for instance, in many particular events like mergers and acquisitions, when a group of people in a company think that their power could be reduced after the merger, then there could be organizational resistances. The current structure, in fact, creates a sense of resistance. Yes, but I am going to do this, but I was the manager of that and I don't want to move my position because, yeah, okay, the current processes, I did the things in one way and I am used to that, and it's not me, it's the organization which worked in a given way, or organizational culture. Give me a bit of faith, because organizational culture is going to be dealt with in lesson 7, okay? These 3 levels of resistance, how do we deal with resistance? Well, obviously, first of all, information and communication policy. An adequate information and communication policy can reduce some of the fears of some people to change. No, well, you are going to stay, you are going to be important in the new organization, and you're going to individual fears and sometimes groupal fears. You know, this post-truth is typical in any process of change. Many rumors run along the organization. Well, they are going to do this, they are going to do that, this department is going to be merged with a daughter, Well, sometimes it's true, but many times it is false. So the thing is that a right policy of information and communication will eliminate these risks, okay? Also, the participation of the people and commitment of the organization. If you make the people participate in the organizational change, they're going to feel important and they are going to feel part of it. They are going to know how it works and so on. Also, you need a process of negotiation and to give incentives to the people which are more involved in the change process. So, well, yes, maybe you're going to change from this to that, but we are going to give you this additional function that you need to bargain with, especially with those parts of the organization which could be critical stakeholders, in fact. Then timing is important. If you remember, you don't need to be too fast, you don't need to be too slow. So creating a right timing for every action in the organizational change can be really important. And finally, granting the support of critical agents. What's the meaning of this? Imagine that you want to come over the resistance, the potential resistance of a group. Let us say in a merger or acquisition, a group of workers, a given group of workers. Well, you can try to talk to the unions or to some workers you know that have got some leadership abilities or some people, and it's not about persuading them, but about communicating to them. If you communicate to them, to these people who understand, maybe these people are going to lead the change inside their groups. No, yeah, okay, this is not so troublesome as it looked because they have told me we are going to do this, that. If you grant this critical agent support, then change is going to work normally. Okay, it's not about framing these people, obviously, because if you frame these critical agents, you're going to have real problems. It's about if organizational change is needed and it's important and so on. It's about being true to them, telling them this is going to be done, this is going to be done, this is going to be done. It's and what we are going to profit is this, that. This is interesting for you. This is interesting for. Okay, that's the way. It's not about framing them. It's about granting their help so that this organizational change can be carried out. Okay, so lesson 6 over.